Let's start by talking about the general VC environment. Fred, Goldman Sachs estimates that VCs have $120 billion in cash stocked up to invest in private companies. Is the market oversaturated?
You know, it's hard for me to know because I don't really know what the demand side of that equation is. I mean, it's clear to me that there's probably an order of magnitude more good investment opportunities in the venture capital industry than there was a decade ago. So that would suggest that we could manage an order of magnitude more capital. But obviously, these things go up and down in cycles, and we could be at a place in the cycle where there's more supply of capital than there is demand. But I think we're definitely on an upward sloping curve on both. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say.
If there is more supply than demand, what are the implications of that?
Well, I think then what that means is that prices go up, returns go down, and then capital leaves the sector, and then there's more demand than supply, and then prices go down and returns go up. That's the ebb and flow of capital markets, and that's the ebb and flow of the venture capital business.
Now, I know you watch the Bloomberg Startups Barometer, which tracks the health environment, the health business environment for private tech companies. It's down from the peak in 2015. What are the negative signs you see this year? What are the positive signs you see this year?
Well, I mean, I think that there's a lot of I'd say sobriety in a number of sectors that have been very frothy in the past. But we have new sectors that are now frothy, and they, and they will have to go through their own hype cycle, if you will.
So what are those sectors? What's frothy? What's not?
The whole sort of cryptocurrency sector, for example, is quite frothy right now. I'm very bullish on it long term, so don't take that the wrong way. We're very long that sector at USV, but. If you look at what's happening in these cryptocurrency markets and the price run-ups, it does seem like a bull market for sure right now in those categories.
Twitter is one of your most prominent investments. Jack Dorsey, the CEO, just announced he's bringing back Baz Stone, one of the original co-founders. How likely is it that Twitter can re-accelerate user growth, re-accelerate revenue growth, and sustain that over the long term so that Twitter is someday significantly bigger than it is today?
I'm very bullish on Twitter. I should disclose that I personally own a lot of Twitter stock, so I just want all those viewers out there to know that. I think Twitter's a unique company. The content you can get on Twitter is unlike the content you can get anywhere else on the internet. And that is only becoming more and more the case, particularly real-time breaking news. I think anybody who wants to consume real-time breaking news, there's no better place to do it than on Twitter. And I love that the band is getting put back together. Biz coming back is when Jack came back, that was the beginning of, I think, a lot of good things for Twitter. And now with Biz coming back as well, when I saw the news yesterday, I had no idea what was happening. When I saw the news yesterday, it just made me smile. I'm so happy about it.
Snap stock plunged after its first earnings report. Facebook has been blatantly copying Snap features and deploying them across all of their products. What's your prognosis for Snapchat?
Well, what's the prognosis for Facebook as a company that has no original ideas, that just tries to put, innovative companies out of business by copying them? I think that's the question to really ask.
So does that mean you're optimistic about Snap's future?
No, I'm just saying that it's really depressing that a company like Facebook can't come up with any new innovations on their own and just have to copy companies.
What about Uber? Obviously, Uber has had its share of issues. What went wrong there?
I think the issue with Uber is that they believe that they could run the table on the ride-sharing market and capitalize the company and built a strategy around doing that. And I think what has turned out to be the case is that unlike search and unlike social media and unlike e-commerce, ride-sharing doesn't look like it's going to be a winner-take-all market. And I think that they're really struggling with the realization that they're in a highly competitive market that's going to be highly competitive for the long term. And I think a lot of the things that are happening to them are kind of happening because of that. I think that they've become a lot more desperate. I think that I think it's tough times there, and I think when those things happen, you see companies come unglued a little bit, and that's what it looks like is happening there.
How much does it come down to the leadership? What responsibility does Travis Kalanick have here?
Well, you know, the leaders are the ones who made the strategy and executed the strategy, and if they had the wrong strategy, then they're accountable for that, aren't they?
You blogged that you thought Apple, Google, Amazon, or Facebook might falter last year. That didn't happen. Will one of them falter this year, and if so, which one?
Well, you shouldn't listen to my predictions because they're not very good, right? I think, look, I think those companies are all firing on all cylinders right now. So probably not a good idea to short any of those stocks.
Anyone that you're particularly optimistic about? I know you were just speaking on stage about Amazon.
Well, the thing I like about Amazon's business is that they're in lots of different businesses. So it's like a stool with 10 legs. And even if one or two of those businesses were to falter, they've got so many other revenue streams and so many other lines of businesses. I think it's a very durable company, a very durable business. And I think Prime is an incredible business model for them. And they're using it to leverage their way into the entertainment business. And I think that's going to work out very well for them. So, you know, it's obviously very impressive what they've done.
So what is your reaction, Fred, to the latest revelation, only the latest revelation, that President Trump reportedly asked former FBI Director James Comey to drop the investigation into Michael Flynn?
You know, I don't really follow this stuff. When Trump got elected, I stopped following anything to do with Trump. I mute the term on Twitter. I'm not really interested in the president, and I'm not really following any of this. I'm paying attention to things that matter to me, and that's not one of them.
As long as Trump remains in office, how does it impact investing? How does it impact startups? Is the political climate changing anything that you're doing at USV?
No, not at all.
All right. So you clearly care about social issues. I've seen that you've done matching campaigns for Planned Parenthood and the ACLU. You're blogging about immigration. Diversity is a huge topic right now, diversity in VC especially. USV doesn't have any women partners. Why is that, and when do you plan to hire your first?
As soon as we possibly can.
How important do you think that is?
Very.
So you've also vlogged about generational shifts in VC. You've been doing this a long time. How long do you plan to stay in the game?
As long as the game will have me. We'll see how long that is, but it's a great business to be in. I love working with entrepreneurs and the teams around them. I love working on and with important companies, and I really couldn't imagine doing anything other than this in one way or another.
So given that you like predictions, what's your big one for 2017?
I think that Ethereum will bypass, the market cap of Ethereum will bypass the market cap of Bitcoin by the end of the year.
On that note, I mean, I know we've all been following this big ransomware attack. You've warned about cybersecurity and cybersecurity issues. You know, what do you think the cyber landscape promises to bring this year? I mean, are we more vulnerable than we've ever been before?
Yeah, we're more vulnerable because more of our lives are happening online and more of our data is online. I think that we will see crypto technology emerge as a more and more important piece of the way we use technology, both as an individual or as a company. And I think it's one of the big mega trends that we need to all be aware of.